I am here with Julia Mikk, who is the founder of the Breath of Love Institute. I'm so excited to have Julia here to have everyone experience her beautiful angelic divine energy and to talk about Breath of Love, some upcoming events that we have coming to the Institute for Spiritual Development in Oneonta, and to experience a little bit of Julia's work. So, Julia has been doing this work internationally for almost 20 years, about 20 years, you said. And she has been working with so many people to support their spiritual journey. So, Julia, if you could start by just talking about Breath of Love and your mission and your vision with it, and so far, really what you've done with it to support people.
Thank you, Amanda. So good to be here with everyone. Wow. I first want to take a moment to honor people who have been here listening to this, watching this, because something in you is ready to awaken to a whole new level of remembering who you are, what your gifts are, what your life could really feel like and look like. And my journey started in a similar way where I knew there was something more to life. As a teenager, I was looking for different modalities or studying different healing techniques, anything I could see and find, I went into deeply, but nothing really transformed me as much as this big workshop I did with one of my first teachers at that time. And it was connected to the breathing, how to use the breath to surrender fully to our true nature. And it was a journey through the breath, through this deep inner work. And it opened me up in a way that nothing else had opened me up. All the other modalities, meditations kept saying, well, if you practice it 30 years or 40 years, maybe then you'll reach enlightenment. Maybe then you'll remember your connection to God. Some modalities were even saying, well, not this lifetime, but if you practice hard right now, then maybe next time you can reach your realization and remember who you really are in your divine nature. So for me, it was so profound to have found this experience through the breath, through this deep inner surrender that opened me up immediately to deep embodied remembering of who I really was. And when I say who I really was, it was this incredible quality of love and infinite grace, peace, oneness that was undeniable. And once I felt it, once I touched it, I just needed to have more. I could not go back to the old version of me. I needed to have another workshop, go deeper, deeper. And I find this was one of the most beautiful graces that I chose to keep going deeper and deeper into this work, which helped me awaken more and more from inside out to who I really was, eventually resulting in getting very clear in what my gift is to the world, what my purpose is. And this is how I got here. So Breath of Love work was really born through my own inner awakening, through all the healing I had to do within myself, all the awakening that happened spiritually in my being. I realized how I could also help others access that state within them.
Wonderful. I have been blessed to take some of your classes, and that's why I really wanted to do this podcast with you, is to show people, like I said, your energy. And you talk about how you've done so much healing work, really coming into I always say coming into resonance with love and peace and the all. Can you talk about for a minute, Julia? You have breath right in the title of your organization and your business name. What is so important about breath?
Yeah, I call it breath of love because I'm actually talking about the breath that's beyond respiratory breath. So many people who come to me, they think I'm just talking about breath work, like breathing with the lungs or with the belly. But actually at the core level, I'm talking about the breath with capital B. That's this infinite intelligence of life that breathes us. And if you let it breathe us, incredible healing happens, miraculous healing even sometimes. It's like this intelligence that moves into us and through us. And as it moves into our body and through the body, it heals the body, it balances our emotions, it heals old unresolved trauma, and it awakens us back to who we really are as spiritual beings. So this breath with capital B can be accessed in different ways, and they teach different techniques to help people fully tap into the power of this infinite being that wants to move through them. But one of the techniques actually is working with the respiratory breath. And in the respiratory breath, there's a lot of power in it, because when we were growing up as children, we picked up many different limiting beliefs, right? Fears, limited conditionings, maybe some traumatic experiences that happened. We pick them up, and they're like layers covering up who we really are. They're like these blankets or veils that covering up our true power, brightness, and purpose. So one of the most powerful ways I have seen to release those layers of conditioning is to use the respiratory breath. One way to describe it is that when something happens when we are little, for instance, for me, I have different stories I could tell, but one of them is when I was around 2 years old, I had a lot of bliss and pleasure that wanted to course through my body, and it felt very exuberant and big and powerful. And of course, I wanted to express it. And sometimes it was fierce, and sometimes it was just very loud. And my parents kept telling me, be more quiet, be more timid, be more nice. Can you resonate with that? I know many people have similar stories, right? Yes. Too big, be a little more small, be a good girl. So the blanket, that veil I took on, was that all my power, all my bigness was not okay. And the only way the nervous system and physiology can make itself smaller, can make the life force more timid, is to reduce the power of the breath. So it's this intelligent, unspoken mechanism in our respiratory breath that continuously modulates what our intention is. So as a little girl, my intention is, I want to fit in, I want to be a good girl. So I want to be more timid, more sweet, more quiet, more unseen. And my body immediately makes the breath shallow. Mm-hmm. And that's how I can be more timid and more small and more unseen. So the breath actually helps us be smaller. And when the breath becomes more shallow in this way, of course, then it becomes habitual. And now 40 years later, 50 years later, I still have a shallow breath. I mean, not me, but speaking of somebody, for somebody who maybe hasn't done work on that level yet, they might realize, oh, they still have shallow breath. And sometimes it's very constricted. And there is a reason behind it. It's not by coincidence. And one of the reasons very often is that our power, our exuberance wasn't allowed when we were little. So now I use the respiratory breath in one of the techniques I teach to open up that flow of exuberance again, the flow of power, the flow of bigness, to reintroduce it to ourselves, telling ourselves that now we can be big, now we can shine bright, now we can be full of love, now we can be full of pleasure. Like now it's okay, and now it's possible. Now we don't have to be limited by our family dynamic that was kind of limited when we were little. Does that make sense?
It does. And you and I have talked before about the aspect of self-love. I bring it up in almost every podcast I do. And that you talk about that limiting constrictive, and it reminds me of like an onion, and that peeling back the layers of the onion. And the love piece, the breath is so connected to the heart. And when the heart begins to open, and we're not that I'm small, I can't be big, I can't shine, you said a lot too, then when the breath comes in, and you said it so beautifully, it's like life breathing through you versus you breathing life. Yeah. And then the heart starts to open. And then that bigness, that expansion, that cosmic galactic one with everything feeling starts to happen. And you can see that so beautifully with your energetic field. And I can't underestimate, and you with your title, the importance of breath, and that moving really quickly in the stress mode and that flight or fight versus having life breathe into you. What a difference. What a shift.
And when I speak of life breathing into us, it's this utmost brilliance and intelligence of universe that is even hard to describe. When it moves into us and flows through us, it's bliss. It's also healing, and it's power. And in this place, an embodied capacity to hold our true nature happens. So I speak about embodiment a lot, because I work with many, many people who come from psychotherapy or who have read a lot of books and they have great concepts. Sometimes they even give lectures. They know very well about the nature of spirit or nature of reality, or that peace is possible. They know a lot, but they're not able to embody, to feel this quality of well-being, joy, power coursing through them. So in Breath of Love work, what I have designed in this modality is our ability to awaken our nervous system, awaken our brain chemistry, awaken our whole physiology to its divine nature, to its divine blueprint, allowing our true light, our true fullness move through the physical vessel fully. That's what I'm passionate about, because I believe that's the only way the divine intelligence can move through us into the world
and heal the
bless
planet.
the world and serve the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about limiting beliefs. When people come to work with you, I often find through my practice, the inner critic is one of the biggest pieces that's hardest for people to get by, because those subconscious inner talking that happens habitual of the inner critic that a lot of people don't even realize is happening, this cognitive dissonance that's occurring throughout every day, and then creating these realities of limited versus limitless. What do you find that people struggle with the most when they come to you, that you feel that you support them with?
The people who come to me struggle with embodiment. So they already might have had 5 or 10 or 15 years of therapy, and they know by heart all the issues from the childhood. Like they know, oh, this is my pattern and this is my limited belief, but they don't have the how. Like, how do I embody a new way? How do I feel a sense of self-love? How do you feel a sense of radiant confidence? And that's a different level of work. This is just talking about your childhood issues. It's going deeper than the mind, deeper than the conscious analytical understanding of things, and really starting to rewire our energy system, our nervous system, our brain functioning, and our subconscious. So in your example, the inner critic, I do find it also one of the more common ones. And this has been the biggest learning also in my life, this feeling that I'm not good enough. And underneath the feeling of good enough, not good enough is usually shame. There's usually a very painful feeling that something is essentially wrong with me. And it's a very painful place to feel. And most people spend their lives avoiding feeling it. Like, I don't want to feel it. It's too painful. They keep proving to themselves, I am good enough. I am good enough. Let me make $1 million. Then I'll show you I'm good enough. Or let me be the best girlfriend I can be so I can show everyone I'm good enough. There's so much work that goes into it. I also work with a lot of therapists and facilitators. So their version of it could be working very hard, like to an exhaustion, to show that they are good enough. But underneath everything often is this feeling of shame, or this feeling that I'm not good enough. And that does come from a very early developmental time. I work with very early pre and perinatal psychology. That includes what happened when we were really little, up to 5 years old. It includes what happened in the moment of birth, what happened during gestation, what happened during conception, and what might have happened even before conception. And all the situations that happened then that were in any way limiting are still with us. They're still limiting us. The reason why they were so significant at that time, because at that time, our nervous system was in the process of developing. So whatever was happening during the time as nervous system was developing and was forming, it created a shape in the nervous system. I call it shape because it's like this sense of self that's just there. And it's very hard to work on it just by talking about your issues. You gotta get in there into the nervous system, subconscious, and bring healing to those very early memories that we don't actually consciously remember, but our body remembers, right? Like one of my memories is when I was in my mother's womb and I was about 1 month there, 1 month in. I was still an embryo, of course, like not developed at all. but I had a twin there with me. So it was two of us there, and it was such a significant relationship as there was a lot of merging. We were like one together, and it was profoundly supportive. But then my twin died.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually one of the first traumas I had to work on and heal for years, because it was so significant to have a loss at such early stage. And nobody was there to hold me or help me. And my mom didn't even know she was pregnant at that time. So it resulted in this deeply excruciating sense of aloneness.
Mm-hmm.
And I never knew in my life why I felt alone. Like I always had this painful feeling of aloneness. I was always feeling abandoned. Nobody was there with me. And when I realized that, where it came from, it was such a profound breakthrough, because, oh, now I could work with it and heal it and bring my love to it.
Yeah.
And so much freedom has come because of it.
Yeah.
So how it connects to breath is that it's very helpful to realize what happened and bring healing to it. But when I take people through breath of love journeys, in breath of love journey, we can awaken our most essential blueprint again, the blueprint that was there before conception, our true nature, and invite it back into our body so we can live from a new place inside. Instead of that old limiting place, the new place of who we really are.
The original divine blueprint.
The original divine blueprint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because some people understand what happened, like, oh, okay, I'm healing what happened when I was really young and bringing love to it and doing healing sessions with it. But one can get stuck in trying to just fix it. And in breath of love, there's a very big emphasis also on awakening your true nature now, because it's available now already. How can we help you awaken it, step into it, and start living from its power and freedom?
Right. And that's one of the reasons I resonate so deeply with your work is you're not just doing the cognitive pieces, you're doing the energetic pieces. And the energetic pieces are often unseen until the energy of the breath starts pulling it in. And healing work can be very tricky, but it's the most freeing, liberating, soaring, amazing work that is so, so enriching to a life and can bring so much joy.
Right. And for me, that's why my greatest mission right now on the planet is to actually help people not just awaken to their true nature, but also awaken to their higher purpose.
Yeah.
Because from their true nature, they will understand their gifts to the world, how valuable they are, how valuable the person is, and start living the purpose fully on this planet in this lifetime. That's really what I want to help them with. It's not just about healing. Healing is great, but it's only a step towards living in the fullness of your gifts.
And you are very gifted with techniques that pull that out. So I want to share that too with the audience. Julia, would you mind giving us a little bit of an experience? So if anybody wants to take the class coming up at ISD or any of your upcoming classes, just to kind of get an idea of what this would be like.
Sure, I like that plan. So I'm going to take you through about 10-15 minutes of an inner journey that will include breath in this situation. Breath can be such a wonderful magnifying glass to help us see what's hidden. As Amanda mentioned, sometimes breath pulls out of us things that we are not even aware of. So often when people do these full breath of love sessions with me that are 1 or 3 hours long, they can go very deep to discover what has been the limitation or fear or anxiety that hasn't let them create the reality they have wanted. So breath has this power to bring out everything that's hidden, and it needs to be brought up so it could move and let go. One thing that our society is really good at is repression. Right? I don't want to feel this feeling. How can I push it away more? Maybe I should drink more alcohol, or maybe I should eat more chocolate, or watch more movies, or over-exercise, or there's so many ways we try to disconnect from feeling, but there's no healing unless we let ourselves feel. So in breath of love work, and what I will guide you into, is using the breath to help yourself feel more again. And it might feel weird at first or strange to let yourself feel unusual sensations or emotions. But your healing really will happen when you let yourself feel fully, because then the feeling can come up, flow, and let go. If you resist it, push it away, the energy of the feeling cannot go anywhere, right? You just have locked it into one part of your body and it's stuck. And if you keep it stuck there long enough, the physical body starts getting illnesses, ailments, pain. So in my work, even though for the first 10, 15 years of it, I didn't focus on healing physical pain, I healed emotional pain, I noticed how physical body always healed completely right away too. And that was amazing to see. But it's the same exact logic I'm explaining to you now, that if you let yourself feel certain feelings and emotions that you haven't let yourself feel before, and you let them flow, then the energy in that part of your body liberates and it's not stuck anymore, which means the physical pain or physical discomfort dissipates too. So I don't know if I can, if within 15 minutes, like heal some chronic pain for you, who knows, maybe it will happen. But just to let you know the true potential of what's possible in your life and in this work. I actually had somebody who did Embody Personal Mastery course, which is a 3-month course. And just a few weeks ago, she said, Julia, oh my God, in the beginning, as I started the Embody Personal Mastery course and started working with you, my 6 years of arthritis and pain was completely gone. And she was surprised herself. She didn't come to me to heal the pain, but pain left completely. Even now, she says, it still hasn't come back. It's incredible. But what actually happened on the inside, she opened up her energy. It started flowing. She stepped into her power. She released the constriction. And as the energy flowed through your whole system, the body healed immediately. Anyway, just to give you a little bit of a inspiration to go with the breath and go with this process for the next 15 minutes. So let's take a moment to first close our eyes and make yourself more comfortable. See if you can lean into the back of your chair, whatever you're sitting in. Just let yourself feel the support holding your whole body. One of the things I'm helping people release is this idea that they have to do everything on their own. So there's often this contraction in their organism because they don't let themselves relax enough to receive support. And then their whole life demonstrates that they don't have enough support. They don't have enough money or enough resources or enough humans to take care of them or love them. So we're taking this moment to open up to receiving support. You don't have to do it all by yourself in this moment. Yeah, you can feel the support of the floor. If your feet are touching the floor, let yourself melt into that support. If your feet are leaning into something else, just let them sink into that support. Let them be fully held. And one of the support systems we are going to be calling in here for the next 10 minutes is the support of the higher intelligence of your own soul. So your personality doesn't have to work so very hard to get through life. You can be supported, healed, nourished, and guided by something much bigger than your mind or your personality. So with that, find one place in your body that feels most relaxed and most open right now. And slowly, gently start making your inhales deeper and fuller. Breathing into the space that is most relaxed, most spacious. It's easier to receive a full inhale when you breathe it into that spacious area of your body. Nice. So immediately you might notice that it's weird to breathe deep like this, or unusual, or even a little difficult. And just recognize that it's because you have very familiar ingrained habits to keep yourself more shallow, more small, and your breath also more constricted. So we are going against what's habitual here, and that's a good thing. Going beyond our habitual tendencies. It's okay if it's a little weird or feels strange at first. It's safe to breathe fully and deeply. Welcoming a whole new flow of life and possibility into your being. Nice. Making the inhale even deeper, even fuller. Breathing in through the nose. And exhaling through the nose too. Exhale pops out all at once, on its own accord. There's nothing you have to do about the exhaling. Just snap it loose, set it free. It knows how to come out of you. Exhale is the moment of complete surrender. Surrendering to every sensation that's awakening in a new way in your body. Surrendering to this pure infinite intelligence and love that knows how to move through your body. Surrendering to your own soul, the brilliance and magnificence of your own soul. It knows how to move into you and through you. There's nothing you have to even understand in this moment. Just let yourself feel whatever is here. Breathe it all in. Nice. And notice where the body is softening and opening as you're receiving this light, this power into your being. What is relaxing in a new way? And we're going to take 7 more deep inhales. Count your own 7 breaths at your own perfect pace. 7 inhales. And this time, make sure they go down into your abdomen. The belly expands as the inhale comes in. Yes. Perfect. After the 7th breath, let your eyes stay closed and just stay with this thread of surrendering, opening, relaxing into something much greater than your mind can even imagine. Letting this great, pure intelligence create any sensation it wants to inside of you. Opening to a whole new possibility into your being, into your life. letting go of the old, the familiar, so something brand new can awaken from within. Letting your breath breathe you in any way it wants to from here. And just notice what is opening or relaxing in a new way inside your body right now. What feels good in some way? Maybe there's still some discomfort somewhere or pain. That's okay. Let it be there. It's fine. It's welcome to be here too for now. But be more curious about what is opening, what's relaxing, what feels enjoyable in some way right now. Where is that place in your body? And notice, what is this quality you enjoy about that place? Is it a feeling of spaciousness? A feeling of nourishment? A sense of deep resting? Or maybe an actual tingle, some kind of tingle that feels pleasurable in this moment. Whatever it is for you, just notice what it is that you're enjoying. And say thank you to that place. Deep gratitude for opening in this way, for remembering how it can feel good. There's a grace there entering you. I call it grace. Maybe you call it something else. How fully can you let yourself receive it? How fully can you let it guide your life? And how fully can you let yourself enjoy whatever is here? Notice what's the wisdom in this place. Maybe there is an insight or a new understanding or a guidance for your journey ahead in your life. Because this place is where you're most in touch with your soul's guidance. Listen to it. Feel free to stay here as long as it feels good to you. And at one point when you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. Just very gently scan around the room. Just notice, what does it feel like inside of you now? What is different now from 15 minutes ago? Who is this new version of you that's here right now? Amanda, is there anything you'd like to share about your experience in this moment?
I have not meditated today yet, and you just brought me back to bliss. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I actually do work with a lot of people who have tried very hard to meditate and they just cannot stop the mind chatter. They cannot stop the continuous thinking about the to-do list. And this is such a clear, laser-like access to the peace, to the silence. I just had someone who did a breakthrough experience workshop with me last month, and he said that he had never been able to meditate. And after the full breath of love session, this was just a mini one, but after a full breath of love session, he had so much inner silence. His mind was completely quiet and he was blown away. He was like, I had no idea this was even possible.
Ever, right?
Yeah, some people never experience such kind of stillness and peace inside of them.
Right.
So that's why I love this technology. And you got just a little bit of a glimpse right now, but there's so much possible when we go outside of the thinking and we know how to use our breath, navigate our nervous system, and allow the power of universe to move through us.
And all the false knowledge, all the lies, everything that's not real goes away. And you're in real. And it's a whole new paradigm.
Exactly. One of my most favorite things, actually, Amanda, is when I do these 5 or 6 day immersions. I do them in person, but I also do them online. They call them Body Personal Mastery Course, and they give us so much time to not only go through the process, but to share. Like right now, I so would love to hear from people, like, what are you feeling? Because incredible wisdom comes through, like wisdom of a sage, like, wow, I am one with the divine, or wow, my purpose is to serve the planet in this way, or I just forgave my dad whom I haven't forgiven for the last 30 years. So much wisdom and clarity comes through, which is such a inspiration for me and everyone. So I recommend for everyone who did this mini session with me, if it was in any way powerful for you, take some more time to marinate and then listen to the guidance that comes from within you, because something just opened up that's meaningful. Don't take it for granted.
Thank you for giving us this beautiful gift, because people can go back and do it again if they want to, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Just 15 minutes with you, it opens everything up.
Yes. And right now we did use the respiratory breath, which is helpful. And I don't want to overlook the fact that you who were breathing with us, you were also held by me and Amanda. So there's a very important part to let ourselves be held, because then our nervous system can feel safe to fully let go. So it's not just breathing. There's something else happens when you're in a container that holds you and heals you, and so much more depth becomes possible.
And to think of what we can accomplish on this planet if we were all doing that, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk really quick about your upcoming event. So Julia will be with the Institute of Spiritual Development in Oneonta. It will be a Zoom workshop called Breakthrough Experience, and it will be kind of a part of a New Year's event. So it will be on January 9th from noon to 3:30 p.m. So if anyone's interested in that, they can go to www.isdoneonta.org and click on the calendar, and the event will be right on the date for January 9th. Or if anybody just wants more information, they can email us at isdoneonta@gmail.com. And if anyone would like more information about Breath of Love, they can go to breathoflove.org. Julia, thank you so much for bringing me back to bliss and for offering your experience and sharing with us today. It's always an absolute pleasure to talk with you. I always feel your divine energy as soon as we start a meeting, and I appreciate it. And if you want to let everybody know, you're out in Boulder, Colorado.
I am in Boulder, Colorado, and some people fly in to work with me here, but I do a lot of online work. So I love that you and I are creating this January 9th event, Breakthrough Experience, that is online. It's a powerful experience. It's truly life-changing, as many people have said. So I highly recommend you come if this in any way intrigues you or interests you and you want to go deeper, or if you have had some blocks and fears and confusion in your life that you haven't been able to let go of. A lot will happen during that 3 hours on January 9th. So just sign up and I'll see you there.
And I can attest to that. Julia, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.